Good afternoon and welcome to the Ifta only training. My name is Andy. We're going to get started by showing you how to set your account up for the Ifta only account. First of all, you will have when you log in the control panel in which you can go and enter your trips, enter your fuel, trucks, trailers, users, and preferences. You do have the ability to go up to the top left-hand corner, click on administration, add your trucks, trailers, users, and preferences. Starting with preferences is your account setup. So we're going to go into our account and we're going to set up our IFTA portion of the account. Once we've done so, we continue. First of all, we have our legal business name, doing business as, our IFTA account number, the state that we're registered out of for IFTA. The next trip will go in sequence starting from 0 if you've just started using the IFTA only account. You can put in your DOT and MC number, if you're mass toll exempt, yes or no, and then down bottom where it says validate empty miles on. This is for the carrier with IFTA. So this is if you're going to import from ITS Dispatch to an IFTA account. Okay. Once you set this up, make sure you go down to the bottom right hand corner, click Save, and you've saved your preferences. You will then go in and add your trucks to the system. An IFTA only account is $15 plus $5 for each additional truck. If you need to add an additional truck, you can add it to the system, but cannot add it to your IFTA until such time as you paid for the extra truck. So at this time, we're just going to quickly go in. You would go add, you would put in the truck number, the truck type. You can put in a license plate, plate expiry if you so wish. But what is mandatory is everything that you see that has a red asterisk. You will then go to IFTA form. You will go in, make sure you set up the fuel type being diesel, reefer, or gas. We will select diesel. And then because we paid for it, we're going to include this truck for IFTA and set our state register, being Florida. Go to the bottom right, click Save. It will then turn this circle into a green circle with a white check mark, including this truck for our IFTA filings. Once you've added the trucks to the system, then you're going to go in and start adding your trips. We're going to start with trip entry, and I'm going to go back, unfortunately, to Q1 because I've been kind of stuck there. Q1, and I'm going to select truck number 101. And what I'm showing you here today is trips that I've been adding for a period of time, okay? So this is the way it's going to look in your dispatch in your IFTA. Okay, so you have Ontario, California to Detroit, Detroit to Ontario. Go all the way down the ladder. Wherever I ended up, like Detroit, it's going to start to be my next trip. So this particular trip, the last one I did was on March 10th, was Ontario, California. My next trip, by going Add Trip, I will select the date. I'm going to select March 10th. I will then put in an odometer reading, and if I don't know my odometer, I can just put in a 0. If you wish to, you can add an address. It'll be more precise. It'll be address to address, but in this case, I'm just going to go city center to city center. So it's US. I'm going to say California. I'm going to start typing in Ontario, and when the drop down appears, select from the drop down. Once you have selected from the drop down, that will be the place where you started from. Okay, so I'm empty at that point on March 10th. So I'm going to go back in here on March 10th again. Put in a 0 for my odometer, select US, select California. I'm going to go from Ontario to, let's say, San Fran. Okay, select from the drop down, San Francisco. Okay, so I went empty from Ontario to San Francisco. I am then going to add a line. Inserting a line, I'm going to pick up, or I'm going to deliver, let's say on the 14th, put a 0 for the odometer, and I'm going to deliver in, let's go to Buffalo. Okay, so Buffalo, New York. I'm now going to go and run my miles. When I click run, it says manually adjusted miles will be lost. If you continue, all manual miles adjusted miles will be lost. Click OK. So I'm going to say OK. It's going to run from Ontario to San Fran, it's 417.8, and then from San Fran to Buffalo. To see the direction it ran, I'm going to click on the pencil to the right. It's going to open it up. It's going to show me it went through California, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, PA, and New York. If that is correct, I'm going to click Save. It will then save it to my dispatch once I'm finished here. Okay, so we have from Ontario to Buffalo, New York. Now, we do have a little triangle over here to the left. It says, this trip starting odometer does not match the previous. As long as I'm happy with the miles and it's equal to what my truck has been running, I'm okay with that. I don't have to correct this. But if you would like to, remembering the one just above it, so what I'm going to do is double click, right click, I've got highlighted. My apologies here, I'm using a different computer. So copy, double click, and right click, and I'm going to paste it. Once it appears there, I'm going to go to the keyboard and click enter, and it just copied the one above, so it keeps everything in line. Okay, so once you have done that, you can then go to adding a fuel. There's two areas in which you can add the fuel. I can go into the actual trip, and I can start adding the fuel here, or I can go into Ifta or enter fuel, select the quarter. I'm going to select quarter 1, select the date, sorry, the truck number, go add line. I'm going to select my date being March 10th. I'm going to put in a receipt number. If you don't know a receipt number, you can just leave it blank and tab over. I'm just going to put a receipt number. I'm going to say I picked up TA truck stop and I bought some California fuel in gallons. And put 150 gallons on. And then dollar value is required. Okay, so once you've done that, then you click save. Once it has saved it to the system, at that point in time, if you have all of your fuel entries in, all of your trips have been entered into the system, you can then go to Ifta report, click on Ifta report, select the quarter. We're going to select 2013 Q1. All trucks, and I'm going to generate. It says you are about to generate an Ifta quarterly tax report. It says please take the time to carefully reveal all fields, ensure everything is completed to the best of your knowledge. By continuing, you accept the full responsibility of the validity of the miles entered, fuel receipts entered, the correctness of the Ifta form being generated, and the accuracy of each total dollar value. Do you wish to continue? I'm going to say okay. I'm going to open it up. It's going to open up in a printout PDF. Once it is done, I can open it up and view it. And what you want to look at when you're looking at your printout is you want to look at the total amount of miles that you've traveled, the amount of fuel that you purchased, and your average fuel mileage. Your average fuel mileage will pretty much give you the indication if you've done it right or wrong. In this case, 8.47 miles per gallon would be great if we were getting that for fuel mileage. Generally speaking, most trucks are getting between 4.5 and 6.5 miles per gallon. So this is something we want to watch for. One of the things that could make that fuel mileage so good is I haven't entered all my fuel, or I haven't entered all my trips. Okay, so it's really important to make sure that you go through the system correctly. And then you're going to scroll down. You're going to look at the form being generated. Once you've looked at the form being generated, this as well will give you some indication if you're doing it right or wrong. I guess I went too far here. My apologies. Okay, so the state of Florida, or your state, will always come up first, and then it'll go alphabetically downwards. So we've got mileage in Florida, fuel in Florida, then you've Arkansas, Arizona, California. I bought some fuel, and that's the grouped fuel. So if I have 4 or 5 trucks, all 4 or 5 trucks combined, the fuel showing up here and the total mileage. Okay, if everything looks good, you can then scroll to the top. You're going to click on the printer and print the document. Or you can go File, Save As. It's going to save it as a PDF. You're going to save it to your desktop somewhere where you can open it up or retrieve it and do it later. Okay, so this is one of the documents in which you can go through. Okay, we're just going to exit out of there. All right, and then you can do a road use report. This will cover you for the 4 states in which you need to print off separately, okay? We're just going to open it up for the right quarter. I'm just going to open it up back to January 1st to March 31st, and then generate. Alright, so this is what a road use report. Now this is just for your purpose only, and what it's showing you is the miles that you've covered through the state that you have to file separately. New York, New Mexico, Oregon, and Kentucky. Okay, and you should have received the documents from the states that are identified here. Okay, we do have 2 other reports in which you can print off. A truck fuel report, which is similar to the Ifta report, and it will only include the trucks singly, okay? And monthly mileage report. This will come in the form of a, let's open up the right date. This will only cover month by month and in an Excel spreadsheet. I got a bad feeling this computer doesn't have Excel on it, or it hasn't been loaded as yet. Okay, give me a second here. And it's going to show up looking like this, again, in an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so you have the truck numbers, you have Arizona, California, New Mexico, and Texas, okay, for the month of February. Okay, so it's as easy as doing it like that. I'm just going to minimize this. All right, back to your control panel. So again, to enter your trips, you have enter trips. Make sure you're on the right quarter. We're going to select quarter 1. You select your truck numbers. Start entering your trips. Again, you have each trip. Now the next trip will be Buffalo. If you need to go inside and edit the trip, you can click on the pencil. Click on the pencil again, and say in Buffalo he traveled, and he went over, spent the weekend there, and he went to visit his girlfriend, put on an extra 100 miles. I can just as easy put the extra 100 miles in here. It's going to change it from 2649 okay, to 2748.8. Okay, so that's as easy as that. If I need to insert a line in between, I can do so by going Insert Line, go to the right, select Insert Line before 2, and then we'll then insert a line between Ontario and San Fran. Say I did an extra pickup, or the driver went off route to go pick that load up. Okay, that can bring in the extra miles as well. If you want to delete a line, just hover over it. It will turn pink and say Delete a Line. And simple as that. Okay, so that's how you look into the trip, see how the trip ran, and the areas in which it ran. If you need to exit out, once you delete a line, it will not come back, and there's no retrieving it. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do your Ifta only. We do have other training under Ifta. My apologies, under help, training videos. Okay, scroll down to Ifta. Okay, so you have standalone Ifta, is what we're doing right now. How to print my Ifta report, Ifta account setup, Ifta fuel entry, and how to enter an Ifta trip. And if you have the carrier with Ifta, we do have stage 2B carrier with Ifta. So if you need any further training, feel free to either give us a call. We're glad to assist you. You can reach us at 888-338-9656, extension 2 for the Training Support Department, and we'd be glad to assist you. Thank you very much, and have a great day.